Hello everyone, my name is YutoIsoya, and today we're going to be taking a look at the demo for Midgardr, which I don't know if it's pronounced with a hard R or with a silent R or a soft R. I'm not familiar enough with the language to do that, but yes, today we'll be taking a look at the demo. And Midgardr, I'm just going to pronounce this Midgardr, kind of reminds me of a game that has a balance between a card game, kind of strategy, as well as a city builder. And you also have your choices will be very important to it as well. And those kind of choices kind of remind me of like if you ever played King of the Castle, for example, where your choices that you pick do have consequences as well as different rewards. So something to keep in mind. But without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look here. I've already played a few different times here just to get familiar with the game. So I am going to skip the tutorial for now. But essentially, what's happening is, as you can see here, we have a very lovely art style here, which is one of the reasons why I was attracted to the game in the first place. So I'll go ahead and read the prologue here. So the Two Kings, Chapter 1. Once upon a kingdom. There is a kingdom old enough to have forgotten its own beginning. Its stones remember wars no living man has seen. It was divided when the one who built it died. The king and his brother. Two brothers, two crowns. The elder sits on the throne and calls it destiny. The younger rules the neighboring kingdom and calls it injustice. Both are right. Chapter 3. A poor war. A war without a name is still a war. It lives in letters and in silences. In the way men stare at maps for too long. It is coming. A little space there. The soldiers can smell the rancid stench of a fratricidal war in the air. Your domain. You, Duke, vassal of a king too old for his own good, not powerful enough to be ignored, yet not strong enough to be safe. The king already has far too many enemies, and from you he demands blind loyalty. So basically, throughout the entire run here, essentially, is we'll be receiving letters, which will show up in the top right or top corner here, or top center, I should say. And we'll have, based on what we choose, we'll determine, different quests that pop up as well as different outcomes once we go into the next act. So far in the demo, there's only one act, but looks like from what I can see is later on we'll start getting events where you have to defend your town, which will be kind of cool to see. But for now, we'll go ahead and see what we have here. So we have our stats here, which we can lock here so we can see our resources, like so. Real quickly, I go over what we have here. We have our people, we have our wood, stone, our money, our crops, our happiness, and our security. I haven't really gotten too much into the security, which I think will be more relevant once the full game is released and start of Act 2, because I haven't seen a real use for it, but I'll go into that in further detail when it pops up. We have our quest here that will pop up, like so, and we have our starting hand here. We'll have an area here for where we get chancellors that we can set down here. We have a compass, which has a cool little animated effect here. And we can see things like our happiness, the season, which has different things that goes on, and our village status. Like so. We have a book here that kind of goes into just details of what happened. Yeah, as you can see here, not much is going on with this. You can go ahead and pause and read if you like. But yeah, so basically what we do is per turn is we'll go and draw cards. And I'll go into the goblet here and the chest here once those pop up. Okay, let's go ahead and draw our first card here and see what we have. So we have our first little guy here. He can be a chancellor that can put onto the field here. So we'll go ahead and start with the house. This will basically increase our population and allow us to be able to basically run certain buildings that we can put on the field. Go ahead and put it out here, and as you can see, you'll have an option to place it wherever, although the starting will be in the center. Like so. And we can also, we might as well go ahead and put our little counselor out here, Gustav Tremaine. And what's cool about these guys is they have an initial cost to put them out, as well as they have different kind of like traits here, as well as the color coding, which I'll get into details after this. And then he has an activation cost. So basically, increases your population by 2 for this turn. Excuse me, and it will cost basically 2 coins to do, and it has a 2-turn refresh. So we'll go ahead and put him out here, like so, and we'll go ahead and put him as a counselor, for example, or chancellor, I should say. So that adds new cards to our deck here, which are related to that role. And we could go ahead and play the effect, but honestly, it's not going to be useful until later on. So, okay, that's all we can really do for this turn, so go ahead and say next turn. But before that, if we go to our guide here, you can kind of get a brief summary of what things do in this game. I'll briefly go through it real quick here. You guys can more than welcome to pause if you like. Actually, I do love the art style of the tutorial, so yeah, this is definitely one of the main reasons I was drawn to this game. It's just for the beautiful art style as a fellow artist myself, so okay. Just going to go here real quick so you can get an idea, and I'll go into more explanations as things pop up. Like so. Yada yada. And yeah, so you can actually get rid of your chancellors down here as well, or your court, and they can have stuff happen to them as well. So yeah, lots of dynamic things going on in this game, which is kind of cool. Yeah, like I said, I love the art style. Let's go go here through real quick. So there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and end our turn and go to the next phase. Turn 2. And yes, what's kind of cool is every 5 turns, I believe, this background will change based on the season. We'll go ahead and just draw our card here, and then we'll have different effects that happen. Alright, so we got an instant card here. And that will do basically -1 and -1 to all cards cost, but -1. Interesting. Okay, so basically you would get -1 to the cost here, but you do lose happiness. So if you wanted to activate something, that would be something to keep in mind. So, okay. Not for now, and there will be some turns where basically we just have to... nothing much will be happening, so I'll go ahead and just say next turn. Yeah, there is a little bit of RNG where you might run into issues with, like, you just have not getting any resources, so... Go ahead and draw our next card here and see what we got. We got a farm. So with the farm, what we can do is, this requires one person to run and operate, and that will start getting us some food here, which is lovely. And this will require 2 wood and 2 stone to build. Go ahead and do that. We can double click and then put it wherever on the field. Like so. Okay, so before we go, I'll start and explain the chest and the goblet here. So the goblet, when it's used, will basically allow you to foresee like what the potential rewards are. I tend to save the goblet for when we activate an effect and have a chest going, because whenever you activate your ability here, basically what happens is we have an event that happens, and we have potential rewards that will happen as well. So I'm going to save this for now, and we'll take a look at the chest here and get an idea of what the events are. Alright, the refugee flood. So essentially we have a bunch of... I'll just go ahead and read it. Hundreds of refugees flee from the war-torn lands seeking shelter. They beg at the gates, women, children, and elders. The village barely feeds itself. Accept them all or turn them away. So we can open the gates, and we have a potential to get these things here. So we might get like some more people coming in. It could be temporary, it could be permanent. We can... Most likely what will happen is we will have to feed them, and we will also probably increase the happiness. Or we have our multiple options here. Red means it's not available. Accept only skilled workers and young families who can contribute labor immediately to food production. So we probably lose some happiness because of this, but I think we just need to see what we can do here. So let's go ahead and try this option here and see what our rewards is, or our losses. So yeah, we did lose a lot of happiness, unfortunately. We did gain 1 temporary worker, and we did get security. So not the best result, in honesty, but it's better than losing a lot of food here. So go ahead and see what else we can do. Nothing much really, so we'll go ahead and end our turn. Alright, you do have to keep in mind about running out of food, which can affect people going into rioting and whatnot, so we just have to keep that in mind. Alright, so we did get a new person here. So one of the mechanics of the game is, if we actually go back to here, we can take a look at our chancellors. So if we do get, we can get, if we get 4 of the same color type, we can get people to get traits and stuff. I have not actually done this yet, so I might try to consider it, but right now I think we just need to get people onto the board. So go ahead and back out there, and let's go ahead and play them as well. We should have the resources. Keep in mind that you want to try to balance this as best as possible. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll go ahead and play you, like so, and we'll make sure that you are, let's say, the treasurer. So that'll add more stuff to the deck, which is lovely. And do we want the player effect? Well, we could earn money right away at the cost of 2 stone, but we'll hold out for now. We'll say next turn. Alright, so we did get a letter. Let's go ahead and take a look at the letter. Oh, actually, before that, let's go ahead and draw a card. And we got another person here. And they are... Unfortunately, we don't have enough lumber, so we cannot play them, which is a shame. We could edict, but that would just eat up more of the lumber cost, so unfortunately, no. Well, let's go see what our letter is. So basically throughout this, we'll be responding to different people, and we have our portrait here to indicate who they are. But when my father died, there should have been one crown. Instead, there were two. My brother crowned himself before the body was cold and called it his right. King with two kings is no kingdom at all. Tell me, where do you stand? I need to know who will help me in this. So basically, this is the older brother who is the king. And I believe there should have been one crown. So there was two. I believe this is the older brother, King Magnus. So we can either decide, hey, you know, do we want to basically support you, or I'll be hesitant on giving an answer. I'm gonna go and say, let's go ahead and be loyal. Yeah, let's try being loyal. And we'll see what happens here. So basically at the end of the act, if we make it there, there will be like a kind of like a Fallout kind of style where it basically has like a little like recap of what your actions did, which is kind of cool. So go ahead and say end our turn here. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing anything else. We can't really put anything else. So yeah, go ahead and say next turn. Now I don't know if like in the before I continue that thought, we have summer has arrived. We did gain +3 some food here, which is lovely. So just as a refresher here, if we do so basically you'll have each turn total production is increased by 2, which is nice. Go ahead and back out. And now, what I was saying was, we'll go ahead and draw our card first. And we got another person, potentially. So he'll cost 2 that and 2 that, but increases your security by 2 for this turn. I've been finding that it's not really useful for security, at least I haven't run into events that revolve security. So I'm going to hold off on that. My thought was basically, you know, I don't know if really... if there's any point to I cannot say that word. Have any strategy involved with putting down your buildings here? But if you do, if we do have any strategy, I don't see any like adjacency bonuses or anything like that. I don't know if that's going to be relevant until Act 2, which is not part of the demo. So just keep that in mind. I don't think it matters for this first part. So do we want to put out another person? We could. And we do have this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show up the effects of the goblet. So we'll have a little bit of a wibbly screen here. And now let's go ahead and get some immediate money here. So now we'll have an event that pops up related to this person here. Gold in the darkness. You order a well-armed. So basically we have some stuff going on here. Quick decisions are needed. So as you can see, with this effect going on, we can see our choices of the rewards of our actions. So we can go ahead and see, okay, we got that will be red, that would be green. Assign a small team as experts, explore it carefully, like so. Or we could do the treasure is recovered collectively, prosperous workers and garrisons share the risk and the rewards. We could get some more security, more happiness. We get more money and resources, which might be nice. We are getting a little bit low on the happiness, so I think I will go ahead and try to get some more happiness here. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll see the results of our actions. So +5 money, +5 happiness, and 2 security. Lovely. So yeah, so the effect will be going for the entire turn, and in order to refill this, you have to get a card that allows you to refill it, which costs resources. So we can only do one ability at a time here, although there is a card that allows you to do 2 at a time, but again, it costs resources. So while this is still active, let's go ahead and take a look at our chest here. So the Procession of Silence. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what our rewards are here. So we have a red here. We can ignore them, which will lead to unhappiness, or we can see your order to challenge to bless them publicly. I'm guessing we'll get some temporary people and some happiness. So let's go ahead and do that, since we only have these 2 options. And our reward is +1 happiness and +2 temporary workers, which is great. Unfortunately, we don't really have any extra billings to utilize that, so... Oh, actually, no. No, they are temporary. It's for that icon there. Alrighty. We could go ahead and add you in, but I don't think... I would rather have him in order to get more of that. So we'll go ahead and end our turn here, and we'll get to turn 7. Our wibbliness goes away, and we'll see what we got. Alright, we got double shift, so we can spend 1 lumber and 2 money in order to get... Oops, go ahead and get that back up. To get +2 rocks instantly. I kind of want to hold off on that for right now. And I don't need to use his ability, so we'll go ahead and say end our turn. Turn 8. Let's see what we got. Okay, so now we have something that produces our money a turn, which is lovely. So in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that down. It actually does not require money to do it also, or it does not require a person to man. So go ahead and put the market out so we can start getting money. And we can use that money to get resources when a future market pops up. Let's go ahead and put it here, and we'll continue. Next turn. Turn 9. We get some money, get some food. We are very low on resources, but we'll see what we get on our next card draw. We got another farm. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play it. In fact, we can't play anything right now. Do we want to use the effect? We can't because we have no rocks, so... Alright, let's see what our chest entails here. The Ascension. A woman floats above an ancient temple's altar, speaking in an unknown language. No one knows who she is, and the villagers torn between faith and fear. We can have the orders sealed off, or declare women a saint and organize celebrations. Let's declare them a saint. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, there we go. But we do get more zealots, which I don't know if that applies to anything in our future run, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, we got more rocks, which is what was needed, more money, some grain, and some happiness. Lovely. Alright, can we play anything now that we have a little bit more resources? We cannot, so we'll go ahead and end our turn. So on turn 10, we will get our little blimp here, which is a merchant. And we'll see what we can get from him. Before we do that, though, let's see what we get from our card draw. So we can only have 5 cards in the hand, which we'll have to discard. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and get rid of... let's go get rid of the Iron Edict here. I don't think that'll be needed. We have people that's envious and selfish. So it'll be ideal to be able to get someone who has humble out. Or at least have the purple icon here. So we'll keep that in mind. And now we'll see if we can get like something good from here. So we'll go ahead and reveal what we have from the merchant. Sometimes things are discounted, sometimes they're not. We could get another market, or we could spend money to go and get some more wood. I say let's go ahead and get some more wood because we are kind of lacking on wood right now. Let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. And that should be added to our things here. Lovely. So we could play another person here. Do we want to play? Unfortunately, we don't have enough for him. And we don't really need a farm because we have lots of grain right now. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and just, unfortunately... Oh, before we can continue, let's go ahead and see what our letter has to say. Basically he's saying, hey, are you choosing... Make sure not to support the king or to support him, so... let's go ahead and be like, hey, you know what, your grace, let's do that. Like a so. Alright, lovely. Alright, we'll go ahead and end our turn and see what else we got here. Alright, see what we have, our card draw, and we have a stockpile. +2 that and that at the cost of 2 happiness and 2 money. Ooh, that's actually kind of nice. I say let's go ahead and get rid of one of these people. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of you, Roland. Like so. And I'll go ahead and actually, can we use that right away? But we can. Lose a bit of that, but we do need the resources badly, so... Yeah, a little bit on happiness, but we're okay for now. With that in mind, can we play someone of interest? Could use their ability. It would cost 3, and cost 3 and 2 to put out, but I'm gonna hold off for now. So next turn. Alright, so they did change to Autumn, which I believe has a little bit of a mood debuff, but let's just double check that here. Yeah, -1 happiness on the change, so that should be fine here. Alright, so we should be back down to... Oh, we're still at 7, so... Go ahead and draw a card here. And we got another farm. Wow. I'm not getting a little unlucky on the card draw here. We could just say... Spend some money and some wood to get some more. Fortunately, I don't think we'll want to do that. So yeah, do we want to just earn money at the cost of that? We could. In fact, do we want to go ahead and do that? Yeah, might as well use this and then use the ability here. And the forgotten receipt. An old goldsmith shows a receipt his father lent gold to the village during the famine. No one ever paid him. Now he demands his debt back with interest. Honor the debt and then get more happiness. Okay. Lose some money. We could reject the claim, get some money, but then lose happiness most likely. Goes to public collection, repay the debt. So a little bit loss of everything. I would say, sorry, it's over half a century. We'll lose some money, lose some happiness, but we're gaining lots of money. So go ahead and do that. Okay, and then let's see what we have here. Letter from an heir. A young noble writes claiming to be the illegitimate son of an old lord from your domain. He asks for a place at your court. We can get some happiness and probably temporary people, or let's see here. We can get money, loss of happiness, and some security. We are starting to get a little low, but I think having lots of money is always a good thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, only one loss, which is fine, but we did get a little bit of money. So, okay. Do we want to play anything? At this point, could start getting a little bit more of that. Or we can start getting a farm down. Honestly, it's not the greatest hand, unfortunately. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of an RNG with this game, unfortunately. It would be nice to be able to maybe exchange resources at like a higher cost. Like, for example, kind of like with Darkest Dungeon, where you can exchange resources that you have excess of for stuff that you don't have a lot of. So that might be something the devs might consider. If not, whatever. I'm not the best at game balance, but yeah, it might be cool thing to see in the future. All right, turn 13. Go ahead and say draw our card here. And we'll go ahead and discard a card that we don't need. I say we get rid of you. Oh, we did get a lumberjack, which is nice. So go ahead and get rid of you. And let's go ahead and get that lumberjack onto the field. This costs 2 money and 2 resources, which is fine. But now we'll start getting some wood here, which is much needed. We'll go ahead and then use our double shift here in order to get some more mines right there. So we'll need more people, which we could use this as a temporary. In fact, let's see here. Do we want to do that? We could put an additional farm out, which will cost 2 and 2, but start producing 1 per turn. Let's go ahead and do that. And what we'll do, the reason why I want to do that is we'll use his ability here. I'll go ahead and just say put the farm here. So now, once we get more houses, we'll want to do that. So go ahead and use his effect, and it will trigger an event. Forgotten prisoner. Once a key figure in trees and has sat behind bars for years, the world has forgotten him. Chancellor says, is it right for a man to fade in size, or is it time to give him an ending? You can free him quietly, then invite him to dine in the small hall without guards. Okay, we can get more possible food, happiness, and security. You keep him where he is, but order that no one call him by his name anymore. For now, he is simply the man in the low cell. Okay, or he can maybe get temporary and happiness. So we'll probably get a lot of happiness, but and maybe lose some of that. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we do this. Okay, so they weren't happy about that. Well, that's unfortunate, but that's what can we do? Alright, so we did get some resources here, which is lovely. I'll go ahead and draw our card and see what we get. Instantly get some more axe for the cost of that. Well, we are already... Oh, actually, we're not getting wood. Fortunately, like I said, we're low on houses, which is unfortunate. So we're just unfortunately going to have to just pass our turn here. Yeah. We want to keep things available for building other buildings if possible. So end our turn, and it should now be going into winter. Or at least it should soon be going into winter on the next turn. Now, do we want to use an ability? Here's the question. Let's first go ahead and draw our card and see what we get. We got a tower. Now, I haven't really seen any use for the tower. I think that'll be definitely a thing for Act 2, which, like I said, is not available yet in the demo. But do we want to use our last goblet is the question. I would say let's hold off on the goblet for now and see what our treasure gives us. The Hooded Informant. Requests an audience. He knows of gold-laden caravan crossing forest in 3 days. He wants to half the loot. Truth or trap? Only a few trust him in to verify without committing too many resources. Okay, we could do that. Or refuse to offer and drive the informant away. Shady business brings only trouble. Let's see here. We might lose some unhappiness and we could get some money. Security, let's go ahead and just move him away. We don't want to invite any trouble here. Will that increase happiness is the question? It did not. Of camera robbed in the forest, perhaps it was true. Womp womp. Okay. So, starting to get low here, unfortunately. I don't think we can really do much about that. So let's go ahead and say, let's see what our letter entails here. A war is coming and will devour lands, people, everything you have spent years building. I am asking you to be shepherd before you are a soldier. Get your people somewhere safe. So this choice will determine if we have to build something or do another option. Let's go ahead and say be loyal to the king and see what this option entails. But do we still have to build houses? Build 3 houses before next autumn, you'll need men. Fortunately, I'm just getting unlucky on my card draws for the houses, so we'll just have to deal with as is. Do we want to use an ability is the question. Well, we could use his ability and get 2 temporary workers, so let's go ahead and do that. Entire King's Tribute. Let's just arrive with a formal request. The duchy must pay an annual tribute in golden provisions for protection. As massive stability, raising risks of war. Accepting means vassalage. Let's see, we can negotiate. We could pay the full without discussion, or we can question it, I believe. Let's see, let's try this out. And... ooh, okay, King accepts it out of pride. The village chooses its best warrior, wins by a hair. The tribute is cancelled. Lovely. So yeah, a little bit of everything, which is nice. Is there anything else we can do this turn? We cannot, so we'll say next turn. Turn 16. Alrighty, let's go ahead and draw our card here. We start getting some wood, which is nice, and some money. Let's see what we got here. Again, we got another double shift here. Now that we are producing wood, let's go ahead and get some more of our rocks here. Lovely. Okay. Do we want to earn more money immediately? We could. I like putting these on cooldowns all the time if possible. And do we want to spend money in 1 rock to get 2 wood? We are getting wood, so I think we're good to hold off on that. We just need bodies on the field, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and say... no, we'll hold off on this and go to our next turn. Alrighty. Let's see what we got here. So we can get lots of money at the cost of those 2 resources. We'll say no, as well as some minus happiness. Go ahead and get 2 more people on the field here. And see what we have here. Runaway Princess. A young nobleman arrives seeking protection. Days later, a royal procession reclaims her. She is a princess promised to an old king. The chancellor must decide. We can do a compromise. And decide freely. Terms with diplomatic apologies, avoid problems. Or marries the princess and the shepherd on the spot. A sacred marriage cannot be annulled by any kingdom. Okay. I think we're okay on happiness for right now. Let's do this and see what happens. It'll probably cost us some money, but we'll see what happens. A little bit of money. Kingdom is offended but does not declare relations cool. Okay. So, a mild outcome, but that is okay. We want to place anything? Unfortunately, like I said, there is a little bit of RNG in these runs, and we just are getting unlucky and getting just the basic farms, but we did use his ability to increase our temporary workers, so we'll go from there. Okay, winter has come. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Alright, so let's go ahead and just draw our card here. Do we finally get a farm? No, we get a mine instead. Well, I don't think we need the tower. Go ahead and get rid of the tower here. And let's go ahead and burn our last goblet here. Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's go ahead and burn our last goblet charge here and get some immediate money. Call from the deep. The fishermen return with a strange net, not full of fish, but of coins, rings, blackened objects. They say the seafloor was speaking in gold. Treasure asks how to proceed. Melt it down, get some temporary Probably some loss of that with some money. Challenge the fisherman's declaring them property of the sea. Or could do preserve everything as is and be studied. Kind of good on that and that. Let's go ahead and say, well, I don't think the security is of importance, so we'll go ahead and do this option here. Let's see what we get. I do want happiness up for, well, yeah, so get +1, +1, +3. Lovely. Do we want to play anything? We cannot, so we'll go ahead and do this. King of the Woods. A foreign king walks among the trees with a silent escort. He speaks no words, makes no threats. He wears a crown and gazes at the citadel from afar. We can try to get more wood and more of that, or we can lose money, lose happiness, and gain security. I say we go and do this. Wood is always useful for us, so... And there we go. 2 wood and 1 temporary worker, which is nice. And we could go ahead and see about getting a mine going, but like I said, we still just need, unfortunately, we need buildings or more people, so go ahead and say end our turn. Alright, let's go ahead and draw a card here. And we got Alma Calvarin. Earn +1 rocks for 4 turns. Actually not bad. Go ahead and get rid of Golden Fever here. And let's also go ahead and play that Chancellor. Yeah, I don't think I'll be going for the bonuses here. We don't, unfortunately, just can't do that right now. So, I'm gonna get some wood here. Go ahead and make him our Marshal. And we'll say, yeah, might as well go ahead and play the effect too. And let's see what we got here. The crumbling fortification. During inspection, the Marshal discovers palisades and towers rotted and collapsing. A minor attack would knock them around. Urgent repairs needed or demolish everything and rebuild better. Ordered only on critical points. Marshal conceals the problem, hoping the fortification will last a few more seasons. Or, new defense lines are studied, dismantle the old structure and reuse recovered materials. Let's give this one a try. Well, what do we got here? Intelligent plan recovers half the old materials. New fortifications are more efficient and cost less. Awesome. So you get some resources, some happiness, and temporary security. Lovely. Anything else we want to play in the meantime? Again, we just need more people, so we're holding off. So go ahead and end our turn. Alright, we finally got a merchant here. Go ahead and say, grab you. We could demolish a building, get +2 but -1 happiness. We might have to actually do that. We can zoom in and see what we have. Here we got extra farm, lumberjack. Okay, so before we do that, let's see what we have here. Do we have a market, a farm, and wood? Unfortunately, another whiff here. We could get a cheap market though, just start producing more money. You know what? It doesn't require a person, so let's go ahead and do that. And do we want to discard anything? Let's go ahead and discard a farm for now. And we'll go ahead and put that market out. Don't require 2 of each of those, but that's fine. And go ahead and put it here. So we'll start getting a lot of money, and we can use that money towards doing things. Anything else we want to play before we use our effect? I don't think so. Yeah, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and get some 2 temporary workers and see what the event entails. Voice in the Mind. The Chancellor begins hearing voices no one else hears, speaking of invisible conspiracies. During a public council, he screams at the non-existent enemy. Stress, madness, or something supernatural. Give him a full rest with calming teas. Could do that. We could do ignore the situation, let a man alone. He's strong, he'll overcome. Or give the Chancellor ritual hooves and mushrooms to meet the voice to face to face. Let's try... You know what? Let's give this a try. Let's see what happens here. And... -3 money. Replaced by strange wisdom. Fascinating. Okay. Lose a lot of money, but that's okay. We should be getting now that we have 2 markets up. Don't want to put anything else out in my opinion, so let's go ahead and say end turn. Ooh, wait, we have to take care of the letter here. Alright, let's see what we got here. Wars are not won with conviction alone. Every lord who fills my coffers now will be remembered when the maps are drawn. I need to know what you are willing to put on the table, not words but hard coin. The loyal will be rewarded with it when it is over. But basically, regardless of what we do here, he's going to want us to give him some money at a certain amount of time, or basically at the end of the act. So let's go ahead and say, let's be loyal to him. There we go. Now we should get a quest that says, hey, you have 12, and then we still have to build 3 houses, which we haven't gotten a chance to draw a house, unfortunately. Just been unlucky on the draws. Go ahead and draw the car. Hey, we finally got a house. Yay, and we have the resources to build it. So let's go ahead and put the house here. There we go. And now we should start getting more lumber, which is excellent. Anything else we want to do in the meantime? I would say no. Not now, for at least. So go ahead and see what we get from our chest here. Cry of the Old Lighthouse. An abandoned lighthouse said to be haunted by an ancient spirit. Lights up again in the night. Fishermen refuse to sail and fear spreads through the harbor's streets. Excuse me, chance to get money, happiness, or security? Or do we want to do dismiss the superstitions and the lighthouse reopen to serve navigators? Let's try this. And -2 happiness, but we do get money. Okay. Anything else we want to play this turn? Could demolish, but I think we're good. And we can earn some money immediate for the cost of 2 of that. We don't have a mine going. We won't be able to get a mine going for a while. We're going to hold off on using that ability and say next turn. Turn 22. Alright. Get instant money. Oops, hold on. Get instant money at the cost of resources. I think we're good on that. So we'll go ahead and say... Oh, actually, we could get our mine out here. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's get our mine out. And we'll start doing temporary workers here. And see what Gustav has to offer. Pact of the 6 pouches. Okay, a scar-covered merchant arrives with 6 pouches tied by a cord. Each holds what you need, but you won't know until you choose, he says, and the Chancellor hesitates. We can accept 1 pouch at random and store it away and plan to open it in 3 days. We could politely refuse all pouches, but invite the merchant to stay a few days as a guest. Or you can open them all and dump their contents into square and let them take what they desire. Let's go ahead and say politely refuse and see what happens. Alright, so manage to leave behind crate. So prudence has its reward. So we did get 2 of that, 2 temporary, and we did lose 1, but that's okay. So next turn. Actually, do we want to demolish this food here? Will cost 2 lumber and 2 money, but demolish. Go ahead and demolish the farm here. Yeah, demolish the farm there. That way, this is getting the thing here. And yeah, I think we'll be good. And we'll end our turn. Turn 23. Alrighty. See what we got here. We got Public Feast. Gain 3 happiness, but lose 2 money at the cost of those resources. I think we're good, but we'll hold that as an emergency, and we'll end our turn. Or do we want to use this? We could get more of that. I think we're good on that for right now. In fact, we're kind of good on resources, but we are getting low on money. So let's go ahead and get some more immediate money here. The Ruthless Creditor. We can deal with the creditor here. Treasurer negotiates an instant installment plan using his future salary. A debt, he admits it. Or a collection. Every family contributes small amounts to save the treasurer. I feel like that would lose some happiness. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Let's do an installment plan and just save our chancellor here, or a treasurer. -3, and he did get a debuff. So this is the first time seeing a debuff, so it has a chance after a certain amount of time to either heal immediately, or in this case, it takes 3 turns for him to recover. So basically his ability is locked for right now. Okay, we'll say next turn and see what we got here. Spring has arrived, huzzah! Alrighty. Let's see if we can get one more farm. We did not. Got Astrid here, who can earn more of that. We don't really need him. Do we want to use their ability? We could, but we need to start saving up money, in my opinion. So let's just see what we have here. In need of salt. Stores are empty. Without salt, things will rot. Okay. Let's see what our events entail. Wait for a regular merchant caravan. We might lose some stuff. Grain. Or... need to distal codes. So we'll probably lose money, but we'll save our stuff. So let's go ahead and just do that. See what we got here. We use a lot of money, but we do gain a lot of grain and happiness. So, okay. A little bit of a trade-off. But we'll have to just make do with that. Do we want to... Let's go ahead and get some more money here. Oh, cachet. Or cash. Or cachet. However you want to pronounce it. And do we want to get more of that? No, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and end our next turn. We got a letter. Alright, first let's see what we drawed here. We got a lumberjack. Unfortunately, that is not something we need. Let's see what our letter entails. So, I have announced I have changed my mind. The king has promised me wealth and honor. I will stay among the ranks of his army. I have heard that a herald of the king's brother arrived at your gates 3 days ago. Be careful making reckless moves. Betrayal lurks around the corner and a blade hangs over your neck. I say this as your friend. Alright, thank you for the reminder, but it's perfect to make my own mistakes. It's not a threat, so let's just say bureaucracy. Alrighty. Do we want to play anything? I don't think we do. Lumberjack. Gain 3 happiness but lose 2 on that. Or do we want to do that? Unfortunately, nothing great here. Yeah, might as well put the lumberjack out. We have one already. Yeah. So let's just hold off for now and end the turn. Alright, so we have a coin flip here to determine if they recover instantly or do it in 3 turns. They do recover instantly. Lovely. Alright, let's go ahead and do a card draw here. And see, we have Isolde here. Alright. We can earn 2 of that immediately. Do we want to keep them? I think we're good on happiness right now. And we will be good on axes as well. And I don't think we need these guys here. Let's go get rid of Astrid here. And go from there. Do we want to play that now? Isolde. We can get more wood immediately. Let's hold off on you. Okay, end our turn. Alright. No more houses still. Okay, so I think we're good on that. Get rid of you, Lionel. You've been around for a while. And let's see what our chest entails. So we got rotwood. Black spores happen. Okay, burn the affected warehouse immediately and all containers to stop the spore spread quickly. Okay, or quarantine warehouse area, seal it completely and for entry into the spores naturally die out. We want to save wood at the cost of labor. Let's give this a try. See what happens here. And we get. Slow. Some spores escape. Few people get sick, but some wood stocks are still intact. Womp womp. Okay. Unfortunate, but we'll see what happens here. Let's get some temporary workers and see what happens here. Prevent poison in the wine. Drinks poison in wine and collapses in convulsion. The healer gives him hours. Some among those present attempted murder. Generic antidote. Hope it works. Okay. Military ambassador and all certain. Someone must know. Or administer an experiment potion from a wandering alchemist who swears to cure any poison. You know what? YutoIsoya. Let's see what happens here. Potion works miraculously. Recovers an hour, but the alchemist demands gold and political secrets as payment. We did lose some of that and that, which is fine, but we did gain some happiness and temporary minus security. Okay. So, let's see what else. We can't do another ability, and not really can do much here. We're good on those. We're good on those. Yeah, we're gonna say in turn. Turn 28. What we got here? Another person, huh? Earn 2 immediately, which is kind of nice. We do need that, so go ahead and get rid of, let's get rid of a lumberjack here. Let's go ahead and play you. Sigurd. Yeah, based on my experience, it's very difficult to get 4 of the same color. Maybe once you get into the later acts, you might have a better chance, because counselors can get rotated in and out, because some may die, some may get assassinated, etc. Let's create an emissary here. And let's see what he has to do. So we can immediately get that for a cost of 2. I say we save our money for this turn. We could use up some rocks, so let's go ahead and try to get some more money here. The egg of no one. During a scout mission, abandoned quarry, miners find an egg the size of a barrel. Covered in turquoise blotches, it doesn't move, but it seems to listen. We can have a rare object be in there. Okay. Look where it is, and the cave is sealed. No risk, no gain. Or if those allies are summoned and the council decides together how to handle the egg. Let's go with that first option here. I think I like that one better. Let's see what we get here. And we get, hey, +3 temporary workers, 2 money, and 1 happiness. Nice. Now, do we want to do anything with that? Let's find out here. Not particularly. Nah. Okay. Let's go ahead and end our turn. No events are happening, so we'll say next turn. Well, we finally get our 3rd house. We did not. We might actually fail this quest here, but we'll find out in a little bit. We do have enough money, but we are constantly spending money. I don't think we'll do anything this turn either. Do we want to get resources at the cost of 2 here? Yeah, let's start getting some more rocks here. And see what we have here. The mission beyond the border. He is asked to infiltrate enemy territories to steal fortification plans, an almost suicidal mission. If discovered, he'll be tortured and executed. No one can know he left. Attempts the mission with minimal preparation, counting on speed and luck. Could do that. Okay. Refuse the mission, too risky for an uncertain result. Okay. Or spy to go in this place promising gold. So we could lose money, lose some happiness and that. I say, let's try this mission. Why not? Let's see what happens. Speed is key. And he is able to seal, but on the way he drinks from a contaminated stream. He only has the only water available. So we got 2 resources and 1 money, but he has a chance of dying. So we'll have to do a coin flip and see if he survives or not. Alright, nothing else. We'll say end turn. Should get a merchant now. Season does change to summer. Okay. Well, first of all, let's see if we actually draw what we need. Draw market. Okay. I say we're good on you. Let's get rid of auto here. Go ahead and add that market in so we start getting more money. And we'll say like so. Okay. Let's see what we have at the market. Are we lucky today? Will we get another house? No. No, and unfortunately no. Well, we don't really need these, and we don't need another farm, so unfortunately we're going to exit without buying. Womp womp. Alright, so we have a few things. Unfortunately, we have no more charges left on that. Let's go ahead and see what we have here. Boy finds cryptic messages hidden in the old granary. They speak of the time is near. Bear noble seal, conspirator, or secret love letters. Suspicion spreads. Do this option or this option. Okay. Burn the message and forget the matter to avoid useless paranoia in the village, or always mention the seals and show them the message, asking for explanations. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, a little bit of unhappiness. Today's unresolved. Okay. Not too much of a loss there. Let's see. Do we want to put another mine out? Not particularly. I think we're good. Oh, we do have to take care of our letter. He's still here. The hero leaves tomorrow at dawn. I have spent 3 days watching you and 3 nights wondering what you would do. Their information could help the king's brother in the conflict to come. There's men who could carry it across the border tonight. Make the right choice, my duke. Tell them to wait for me. Perhaps the minstrel will tell a different story to our children, or lock your door tonight and forget that, you know, this is not your burden to carry. Let's try this one. Okay. Okay. Don't think we'll be doing anything else here. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and say end our turn and see if our Chancellor survives by any chance. Guess we'll find out. Go ahead and draw our card here and see what we get. Finally, no. So the cost of 2 happiness and 2 money, we can get more resources. I say we hold off on that and say... Oh, actually, we want to do happiness. I think we're good. Go ahead and end our turn here. Alright, will he live or will he die? Let's find out. Oh, he died. We have lost a person here. Womp womp. Next turn. Oh wait, let's draw our card first. So he will die next turn, unfortunately. Hey, finally a house. Alright, so let's say... Keep our get out of jail for that. Earn 2 immediately. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. And we'll go ahead and place our last house down. Hoo-ha. Finally. There we go. Okay. So we should be able to fulfill this request now, which is lovely, and we'll be able to actually start taking care of some buildings here. So with that in mind, we could start putting in new buildings in. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. We'll start doing a little bit of a buffer here. And we can start using him to get temporary workers. You want to put anything else? Put stockpile. Lose some happiness and money, but to get more of that, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Start using up our cards here. And do we want temporary workers? I think we're good. Having more money is always nice, so... Or we can get more of that per turn. Hey, more money for that. So let's go ahead and do that. See what we have for an event. Profitable smuggling. So we can do a silent fee. Ignore it completely. Or... make it legalized through a village control cooperative. Let us do a silent fine. See what that entails. Oofa. Oh well. Alright, so we'll say next turn and see what happens. Alright, what do we get for our card draw? We got the Swift Courier. Use these resources to get another card. Yeah, might as well. We have the resources, so let's do it. And we get another market. Well, money is always good, and we have the resources. I'm gonna do that. Let's get another market here. Oh, what is this? What is this? This is my first time experiencing this. Oop. Are you getting additional? What is the population required? I'm not sure. I don't think it's really explained, is it? Let's see here. Yep. Don't see anything. Oh, here we go. Build your board. No, I don't see anything about that. Okay. I guess we'll try putting another building there and see what happens. I was talking about getting adjacency bonuses, but we'll see what happens next. Let's see what our chest gives us for an event. The Crystal Crypt. Children return from the forest speaking of a stone stairway descending underground. Below, a crystal crypt glowing with its own light and sarcophagus surrounds by gold, gems, and blue artifacts. Take only some gems, leaving the rest intact out of respect of the dead. Okay, or mark the location and return calmly in the following days to collect cautiously. Same kind of outcome. Let's go and do this one here. Alright, the cruise is still there. Treasure collected gradually. Nothing disturbed. All is well. Okay. Nothing else we can do here. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and say... end our... Oh, we could use an ability to get temporary workers. Or we can get just more rocks over time. What do we want to do here? More rocks over time. Well, let's just go ahead and increase our workers and get a new event here. The Market of Rumors. During a walk through the market, Chandler noticed evasive glances and sudden silence. A rumor is spreading. It seems a concern and no one says it out, but everyone knows it. Forgive gossip. Okay. Just reason wanted to every stall to ease the tension. Or you have been public as a kid. Some act for those who do that. Let's go ahead and just do this one. And we got -3, but we get +2 happiness. That's fine. We have plenty of grain for now. Alright, he will be dying, right? Right? We got release prisoners. +2 for this turn, but -1 health. So, get some more temporary workers. I think we're gonna hold off for that. He will cost 2. Do we want to do that? I don't think we need temporary workers right now, so go ahead and just say turn. Oh, here we go. We have the prologue ending. The verdict. 1. The morning. The herald of the king's brother has been here for days now, lodging in your castle. He came for trade agreements. He will leave with something else, but you have not yet decided what. The people. You walk through the citadel at dawn before anyone else is awake. These are your people. They built this place stone by stone because you asked them to. 3. The wait. Partridge Rock knows the herald is here. Madness Cold could know by morning. Dorothy has said everything she had to say. The night is running out of hours. An opportunity. Excuse me, the herald leaves at dawn. You have until then. Every choice you have ever made has brought you to this corridor, this door, this last night moment before everything changes. Read conversation. You go to the herald yourself without documents in your hand, a knife. Herald will not see the morning, a warning to the king's brother. You have Dorothea's escorted to the cells beneath the castle. She'll be safe there, that is what you tell yourself. The half-promise. The citadel is silent before dawn. You have sent cold to madness, thrown a body into the river, and locked a faithful woman in a cold room. You have become the man the king you wanted you to be. Partridge Rock sounds its trumpets. The kingdom thanks you for your service. Alright, so we decided with the older king brother. And these are the results of our choices. So that is, folks, the Act 1. We did complete his donation here of 12 gold, which is nice. And fill his coffers, and now we'll have a new card available in Act 2. But, folks, that is Act 1. Overall, I thought the game was a pretty solid game. I love the art style. I love the mechanics of the game. I feel like there could be a little bit of some balancing still, as well as possibly some ability to exchange resources at higher costs. But yeah, other than that, I enjoyed the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Make sure to take a look at their Steam page. I'll put a link in the description below. But folks, hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye-bye now.